When people come to Grand Village to look at a place, it isn't like just going out and buying, a new sweater. You don't make that decision in one afternoon. You make that decision over 5, 6, 7 visits, and you weigh what will help you, what will not help you, how am I benefiting? And we find that the influencers, or for people who don't use the word influencers, typically a family member or close relative in the family or friend that helps them make their decisions. And the influencers really like the idea that when their family member comes here to live, they are not feeling guilty, like they're just leaving them on their own. They know they have this peace of mind that comes because their relative is wearing a Tempo. That gives people such peace of mind, like, okay, someone is watching, and so we love that for the residents making their decision and for the influencers when they're helping their family members to make a decision. But then specifically, most people think, like any emergency service, that you're never going to need it. But we have a lot of people who have falls, and I'll just give you one example. We had one of our residents who was a really tall man and a big bone man. He had been a football player, and he was just a big, strong guy. And he was using the restroom one day and stood up too quickly, and he got dizzy, couldn't find his balance. He went to put his hand on the shower curtain and fell into the tub backwards. And then he was caught in the tub. Couldn't reach his phone. He couldn't move at all. His wife was out. She was doing errands, and he was able to push, his Tempo, and we were there within a minute or two. And that's a huge, huge benefit. When his wife came home, she didn't feel guilty because she had gone to errands. When they talked to their kids later, their kids felt like, oh, thank goodness somebody was there. And for the resident, he didn't feel that there was an obtrusive situation where people were watching him all the time. He just knew when he needed it, it was there, and we were there. And it just helps everybody when you have that as a tool. We had another more serious incident. The very first day, we had a resident move in. It was within maybe 2 hours of her living here, and she was upstairs unpacking boxes. She had just gotten her Tempo, and all of a sudden she couldn't breathe. And she couldn't use her phone. She couldn't get enough air out. She pushed her Tempo device, and within 2 or 3 minutes, we were all there. I was at the concierge desk as the manager at the time, so I went up, and the home healthcare company had people that went, and she ended up losing consciousness. She was not breathing, and as a team, I just stood and held her hand, but as the healthcare company worked on her, and they did CPR for between 12 to 15 minutes before the fire department got there. And then they continued CPR while in the ambulance, and it ended up saving her life. There is no doubt that she would have died without CarePredict, not because that a person couldn't solve her problem or get her to a hospital, but because we would have no way of knowing. She couldn't communicate with any other device. This is what saves lives, day in, day out.